Hello, and a warm welcome to our weekly show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. We're delighted to have as our guest today Ethiopian journalist Haileegziabher Adhanom. Hello, Haileegziabher. Lovely to see you, and a big thank you for joining us.
Hi, Anna. It's been a very long while since we have seen each other. I think it's Doha, the last time we met. I'm sure you're doing very well. And thank you for having me for your show.
Let's first take a look at what's been happening over the last 2 weeks. Starting with cross country, the Atapuerca Cross, the fourth World Cross Country Tour Gold event, was held in Spain on 14th November and boasted stellar fields, especially among the women. Few would have expected the rare Eritrean double with Aaron Kifle and Rahel Daniel Gebre Johannes emerging victorious. Burundian Rodrigue Kwizera, the winner in Soria 2 weeks before, was second ahead of the Ugandan duo of Joel and Thomas Ayeko. In the women's race, a strong Kenyan quartet closely followed the winner, with Beatrice Chebet and Margaret Chelimo just 1 second behind, and steeplechaser Nora Geruto 2 seconds further back, while Selifin Chespol was left further behind. Back on the roads, there were fast times in the Urban Trail 5 km road race in Lille on the 6th of November. Ethiopia's 1500-meter specialist Dawit Seyaum set the world record in a mixed race with 14 seconds 41 ahead of Kenya's Nora Geruto 14:43 and fellow Ethiopian Meskerem Mamo in 14:55. Her compatriot Berihu Aregawi made it an Ethiopian double, but with 12:52 he missed Joshua Cheptegei's world record by just 1 second. Uganda's Hosea Kiplangat was a distant second in 13:25. But most of the talk was about the New York Marathon, which was held on the 7th of November. Kenyan journalist Elias Makori was guest on our show 4 weeks ago and had told us he would be flying to New York. And what a great decision that was, given the Kenyan double in the last World Marathon Major. After the race, Albert Korir and Peres Jepchirchir were on top of the world, standing at the top of the Empire State Building. Albert Korir had clocked 2 hours 08:22 for victory ahead of Morocco's Mohamed El Arabi 2:09:06 and Italy's Eyob Faniel 2:09:52. Peres Jepchirchir took the women's race in 2:22:39, only 8 seconds outside the course record. Jepchirchir outsprinted debutante Viola Jepto-Lagat 2:22:44, while Ethiopia's Ababel Yeshane was third in 2 hours 22:52. Olympic bronze medalist Molly Seidel was fourth in a PB of 2:24:42. Elias kindly sent us this sign-off from Central Park.
A pretty calm atmosphere here at Central Park in New York, where a few days ago it wasn't this quiet. It was a real battle between, the elite marathon runners tackling the final major of the season. And of course, a Kenyan double from Peres Jepchirchir and Albert Korir. Albert winning his first World Marathon Majors race in 2 hours, 8 minutes and 22 seconds. And Peres coming just 8 seconds behind or outside Margaret Okayo's course record right here, which was set in 2003. A brilliant debut by Viola Jepto-Lagat, finishing just 5 seconds behind the winner, Peres Jepchirchir. Remember, Peres won the Olympic Games gold medal in the marathon in Tokyo, and she was crowning a brilliant year for her. The men's race, another exciting duel. Pre-race favorite Kenenisa Bekele from Ethiopia couldn't make it, and he finished away back in 6th, running 2:12, not exactly the time that he wanted. But a brilliant afternoon or morning for Kenya, coming hot on the heels of the Boston Marathon, where there was another Kenyan victory in the men's and women's races. So a brilliant crowning of the season by Kenyan marathon runners on the roads right here in New York. A very tough course, an uphill finish, But it was exciting to see how Perez Chepchirchir managed to keep off Viola Lagat. Of course, I experienced counting on the day. Viola, a 1500-meter runner who's come up the miles and making her marathon debut, definitely the star for the future in the women's marathon for Kenya, with the World Championships coming up next year right here in USA in the city of Eugene, Oregon. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Elias. Now, Franco Fava had also sent a video telling us why New York is so special.
Well, New York. I was so happy to see the New York City Marathon back again the other day with more than 30,000 runners. This time, not so many Italians were able to run in New York. Usually, we did have 3,000, 3,500 Italian runners. This time, only 100 due to the difficulties to cross the Atlantic, which is open again now for the tourists. The marathon world could not be like it is without the New York City Marathon. I remember when I started the New York City Marathon in 1980. At that time, I was bringing into New York to run the first Italian group of runners. It was 85 Italian amateur runners who went into New York with a special trip organized by myself to run the New York City Marathon. New York is a global phenomenon, as George Hirsch wrote on the New York Times a few days ago. New York is not a fast course, we know, but to win in New York with any time you win is something unique. And what made me happy really was that the women race was won by Chepchirchir, and she became the first marathon runner to win in the same season the Olympic title and the New York City Marathon. It was a double, so good, so strong, that New York and all New York City runners deserve to have such a good winner again.
Runner-up Viola Lagat had a great quote before the race, telling the Daily Nation, "My brother, Bernard Lagat, will be a commentator. I have to give him something to say. That is why I need to run a good race." She certainly ran a brilliant debut marathon and dedicated her race to Agnes Tirop. Elias Makori spoke to Viola Lagat afterwards, and her talking is as good as her racing.
I'm so grateful that my body was able to hold up in that marathon training. At the beginning, when New York Road Runners asked me to come here, it was in June after I ran the mini 10K, and I was second here, and Sam was like, "Viola, we would love to have you here in November." To me, it seemed like a very short time. So at that point, I was like, I will just talk to my coach and my agent. If they feel comfortable with this, then we will get back to you and let you know. So I'm really, really happy that my body was able to hold up to that kind of training and got me to second place today.
And of course, the second part of the race, you ran a very clever race because you didn't push too hard.
Yeah.
Coming into the hill on Central Park, you looked like you could get Paris, but I think she took off. How did you distribute your energy, and how did you plan your race?
Everybody kept telling me to run conservatively the first half. So whenever it went really fast, I would tuck in behind everybody else and just, go with the rhythm. I didn't want to do any work. I didn't want to go in front because it was a bit breezy towards coming back this way. So I just tucked in, ran with everybody, kept looking at my watch. There was a few times that I was running around 3:15 pace or 3:18. So I kept telling myself, you know, 1 or 2 wouldn't change anything. So I'll just go with the flow. If it continues for around 6K, then I have to drop, or after 3, then I have to drop back. But it wasn't that bad. It felt great. I think my training was really great, that, you know, it didn't make a huge difference running a 3:15 or 18 for at least 1 or 2Ks.
A brilliant silver medal. You've spoken about dedicating it to Agnes.
Yes.
Tell us what you felt thinking about Agnes going through this race.
You know, okay, I'll show you something real quick. So Adidas, my sponsors, have been really supportive through this Agnes Tirov thing, and they have helped us with, you know, supported us through the Agnes Tirov Foundation. So in memory of Agnes, they were able to get us a logo on our uniforms. So this is Agnes Tirov. So this logo was just for Agnes specifically. We are running in her memory today. So it's been really great to work with a company that, you know, they feel like what happened to Agnes shouldn't be happening. So we're working with other athletes like Joan Chelimo, Mary Keitan, Abel Kipchumba, also Paris Chepchirchir. We're working together on that Agnes Tirov Foundation. It's called Tirov's Angels, and with the help of Nandi County, they've been really supportive. They've given us a lot of legal help in registering the foundation, and also Adidas will be helping us a lot when it comes to funding and all that, bringing awareness. So it's been really great to have a company that supports us. So running for Agnes today was my main priority. I knew that I had to run for her. She would have been really happy for me to run this race, just as much as we were really happy for her to run the world record in the 10,000.
Thank you.
So it's a real tragedy what happened to Agnes Tirop. The positive we can say is that it really has created a lot of awareness and a lot of solidarity. So let's hope that at least this is a positive outcome from this tragedy. Now, Haileegziabher, Kenenisa Bekele was 6th in New York in 2 hours 12:52 after placing 3rd in Berlin on 26 September in 2:06:47. Some people are saying Kenenisa is ruining his legacy. What do you think?
Kenenisa Bekele, without a doubt, is one of maybe the best long distance runners of all time, especially if you count everything that's called long distance, be it a track, be it on the cross country or the marathon. Without a doubt, one of the greatest of all time. But recently, I think he's aging, and injury is not giving him a favor as well. He always try to replicate what he has to offer, especially on his younger age. But he have been, as we all seen, that he have been forced to quit or to finish in unfamiliar territory in the longer distance running competitions. Even though, you know, this is happening frequently with him, I am sure that there is still something for him. Maybe the goal for him that I can confirm that I understand from his closest allies, his aim and his goal is to do something on the marathon before he quits running. He's 39 now. His goal is to break the world record in marathon before he quits athletics, professional athletics. So I'm sure, knowing him and his capabilities, he will be succeed, and of course I'm rooting for him to sign off with this achievement. But I'm sure that, you know, he still have 1 or 2 or 3 maybe chances to realize his dream of, you know, breaking the world record in athletics in a marathon.
Now, someone who, like Kenenisa, ran in both Berlin and New York is Shalane Flanagan, but she also ran 4 other marathons in between. Let's take a look at these stunning stats. So fantastic at 40 years old, surgeries on both knees in 2019, 6 marathons in 42 days. Berlin, London, Chicago, Boston, then a virtual Tokyo Marathon, which she ran solo in Portland, and finishing with her best result in New York, 2:33:34. So Flanagan concluded her Herculean challenge in New York. She is retired. She chose to compete in the mass race, but that performance would have placed her 12th among the elite women. Truly amazing. Now, as Jonathan Galt pointed out in his autumn marathon recap on letsrun.com, all 5 men's winners of the World Marathon Majors this year were first-time winners at the majors. And this is the first time it happened in the history of the series. So in Berlin, Guye Adola of Ethiopia, Sisai Lemma of Ethiopia in London, Seifu Tura of Ethiopia in Chicago, and then the last 2 were won by Ethiopians, Benson Kipruto in Boston and Albert Korir in Kenya. So 3 of the 5 World Marathon Majors, the first 3, were won by Ethiopian athletes. Sisai Lemma, 30 years old, has been a regular at major marathons for several years. Guye Adola, 31. His best result before Berlin 2021 was a bronze medal at the World Half Marathon in 2:14. And then he was second in Berlin Marathon in 2:17. Seifu Tura, 24 years old. His best result before Chicago 2021. He was first in Milano Marathon in 2:19 and first in Shanghai Marathon in 2:18. So Haileegziabher, a positive season in the marathon for Ethiopia with a mix of experienced athletes and young talent.
In a very recent time, this is going to be one of Ethiopia's most successful major marathon victory years. Out of 5 or 6 major marathons, Ethiopians managed to win in 3 of them. We won in Chicago, we won in London, and we won in Berlin. Among them, it's Seifu Tura and Guye Adola. Guye Adola, when he started competing marathon in the highest level, that's in 2017, he finished second, missed the first spot to the great Eliud Kipchoge. He was someone who just popped out literally out of nowhere and compete in the highest level with that kind of caliber. Since then, many are expecting him to perform well, but unfortunately, after 4 years, this is going to be his first ever major marathon win in Berlin, where the great Haileegziabher had to finish third. And Seifu previously used to be a middle and long distance track runner who turned out to be a road runner in a short while. Have got a good results in Asia, in Italy and Turkey, but especially this year, out of expectation, he managed to win one of the major marathons this year. People know him for his dedication and very hard work, especially his endurance is unequivocally admired by his coach and peers. So those are the athletes that really surprised the athletics world by claiming the greatest maybe prizes to be won in the ultimate marathon running competitions.
New York concluded the World Marathon Majors, but several important marathons are still to come, including Abu Dhabi on 26 November and Valencia on 5th of December. Now, of course, having Haileegziabher with us, we will go back in time to Valencia and one of the most stunning performances of 2021, his compatriots Letsenbet Gidey's fabulous 62:52 half marathon world record. Haileegziabher, you have followed Letsenbet's younger career for a while. Tell us more about this amazing athlete.
One of the most loved, the most darling athletics daughter of Ethiopia currently is none other than Letsenbet Gidey. A very calm person, very professional and dedicated. She never ever skipped her training. I remember once after she broke a record in Valencia, After a day, she arrived in Addis. Immediately, she went to training in the morning. So she was so committed, she was so professional. She always listened to the legends. There are some legends who really offer their advices to her and her coach so that she stay in the top form for long. One of them is the great Haileegziabher, who have known her for a long time. He always give her his advice how to maintain form, how to stay in the form for a long time. And the other is Darartu Tulu, is also an Olympic champion, a current Ethiopian Athletics Federation president, especially on her way leading to the Tokyo Olympic. She offered her a suitable atmosphere. She brought her to Addis Ababa so that she was only focused on her training and on the Olympics. And there are others also who is really helping her to be on stable mode, and then she always only concentrate on her athletics. So she's very shy. She doesn't like to speak too much, but also very expressive. She always taught herself how to express, especially on camera. She tries to learn new language, especially English. So maybe in a couple of months or years' time, she will be able to communicate with the international world without anyone, going to translate it to her. So she's very hardworking on and off the track, and also working very hard on herself so that she can be a real star in athletics to come. To tell more about Haileegziabher, she's coming from Tigray, the northern part of Ethiopia. She started athletics in a competition in her school. Immediately after she know that she have athletics, I remember when she told me that she was not even fond of athletics, but she never liked to lose any kind of competitions. So when there is a competition in her school, I think she lost, and then she worked very hard so that she can beat her competitors. And after that, the scouts identified, the coach identified that if we work very hard on this girl, she can be one of the biggest athletes. So they were really trying very hard to convince her to join the athletics. And then she was convinced because her families also were aware about her talents by the coach. And this is how she started athletics. But after that, she won every competition from school level to Warada, Kabale, and small administrative levels to the national level, and now, as everyone can witness, to the international level. Just to reiterate that she's very shy, but she's so committed on her things that she's doing. I mean, there is no half commitment. She's always committed fully to do something. Whenever she's planning to do something, she's committed. That's as much as I know about her.
But let's leave recent events for a while and ask Haileegziabher about some of his favorite moments. So what were your 3 favorite moments in the sport?
My 3 all-time favorite athletics events, I can say one, it's a Sydney Olympic. I was 8 or 9 years, but I still remember like it happened yesterday. I have a very vivid memory. I remember when Haileegziabher sneaked the 10,000 meter gold medal from Paul Tergat in the final seconds or meters of that race. I remember people, especially the older people, are beating the table, crying some. They're shouting that because they thought it was Paul Tergat who won it. But when we see the replay and electronic timer show that Haile is the winner of the race, I still remember that, how people were happy, how people were crying with happiness and everything. So I still remember that thing. So for me, as far as I remember, that's my first ever international sport exposure to watch. So that's one of the things. I can stay in that Olympic because I remember all the winners were watching on a satellite dish with our elders. I remember Darartu Tulu win the 10,000 meter. I still remember a million oldest celebration after he finished with a gold medal result in 5,000 meter, and Haileegziabher marathon also that come after 32 years. So the 2000 Sydney Olympic is one of my favorite, and the other is the World Athletics Championship in Osaka. That's in 2007. That's in Japan, where Haileegziabher won the 10,000 meter. I remember halfway the race, she was shining that she have a feeling around her stomach. People thought that she's going to quit that race, and the expectations are very high because she have been demonstrated that she's going to win wherever race she was competing. So when we see that feeling, and the replays are showing repeatedly that she's having trouble in her stomach, we thought that now it's over, so she's going to quit. But immediately, I don't know how she cope up with that kind of pain, but she overcame it and she win the 10,000 meter gold medal. That was really one of the moments that I never forget. And the other is Almaz Ayana's 2017 World Athletics Championship in London. In 10,000 meter, that's for me for the very first time that I see Almaz is winning big and in a big time. She almost laps everyone who is on the track. She ran like 14 laps alone with same kind of energy, same kind of pace, and people were really mesmerized. I was in the stadium, London Olympic Stadium. People are really cheering for her. So that's the third moment that I still found, and one of the best moments in athletics.
And your three favorite moments of 2021?
My favorite athletics events in 2021, I can say it's all in the Tokyo Olympic. Maybe it's too personal because for the first time I do the commentator's role in super sport for the Tokyo Olympic. I cover all the events, especially the track and field, and other events in road running. I was fortunate to witness some of the best moments in athletics. That's Haileegziabher and Tamberi's sharing of the medal, especially in the high jump men's event. It was so emotional, so sports. So I'm really fond of that event. And the other one is Solomon Baraga's win in the big stage. He has been trying his best to win in a big level, but this time he managed to be successful and he won a gold medal after for Ethiopia. Unfortunately, he's the only one who win for Ethiopia gold in that Olympic, but I'm really happy that I see Solomon is successful in the big stage finally. And the other is Jacob Marcel's 100 meter. Traditionally, this sport is given for the Caribbean and United States athletes, but this time it's very different. The Italian out of nowhere came and grabbed the gold medal. Sifan Hassan's amazing journey, Latsambat Gdai's try, and emotions. Those are the moments that I really cherish in 2021. So totally the 2020 Tokyo Olympics that was staged in 2021 is for me the best sport event that happened in the calendar year, and it gives us everything: the hope, the competition, the memories, a fascinating competitions, and so on and so on. So I can say that this event is the best in a calendar year for me. Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, the Great Ethiopian Run 10K, scheduled for 14 November, had to be postponed due to the state of emergency in Ethiopia, but 300 runners worldwide took part in a virtual race, with many using the occasion to raise funds in support of work in Ethiopia. In his reporting from the New York Marathon, Elias Makori also sent us a short video with Kenyan Ibrahim Hussein, who was the first African to win the New York Marathon back in 1987 and was inducted into the event's Hall of Fame a few weeks ago. Let's listen to what Ibrahim Hussein has to say.
I think, Makori, it's a great honor for me to be back in New York. I was here, the last time I was here is 1991, and I remember winning it in 1987, and it was so sweet running up here to the finish line. I had left the guy who was second behind me was none other than the Madonna, and for me really running and winning it, I think it was the greatest thing which happened to me, and I'm happy that I'm back to New York to be honored. You see, the Western world or the Americans, they appreciate good performance, and they appreciate history. So I'm very lucky to have been one of the guys who made that history, because I was not only the first Kenyan to win it, but the first African to win that marathon. So many Africans had tried before, and it's not here alone, it's also in Boston. You can hear when they were presenting me with, or honoring me, they keep on talking about New York and Boston. So they know I won 3 times in Boston, but this was the place which really set the pace for me and gave me the opportunity to be invited in major races. You know, if you classify the marathons, you know, Boston is the oldest, but to me, New York is almost like Hollywood. It's where the stars are made, because it's 50 years. So the other one is almost 100 years. So this one you win, and everybody wants to associate with you. They want to invite you to their races. There were so many Japanese races which invited me after this race. You remember Honolulu, which I won 3 times? They were so happy when I came and won the New York Marathon, because their profile also goes up. So to me, being back here, I mean, I'm really, I don't know, I have no words to describe it. And you can see Makori, the way they have really treated me. And I was walking from my hotel to the finish line here, and I was accompanied by my 2 daughters who are in Albuquerque and one is in Dallas. And they were so happy that the people along the way, they still remember me. They were hugging me, they were yelling, "Hey, Ibrahim," and you cannot believe it. Back home, you know, after retiring, less than 10 years, you are forgotten. But here, it's 30 years since I was here. And you can see people are still remembering me and really shouting my name, and so thrilled. Just like that, they are even shedding tears. I mean, my kids were so happy. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. And you see the way they are treating us here. The organizers are really very happy that I'm here. They think it's really great for me to be here with them.
So thank you to Ibrahim Hussein, and thank you to Elias Makori, who brought us some great videos back from New York Marathon. And let's now recap what's coming up on the calendar as we reach the end of our show. Top events in the next 2 weeks include cross-country, road races, and more area age championships. The next 2 World Cross-Country Tour Gold events will be held in Spain, Sevilla, Italica on the 21st of November, and Alcobendas on the 28th of November. And of course, many European countries continue to hold the national championships ahead of the continental event on the 12th of December. On the roads, it will be interesting to watch steeplechase legend Paul Kipsiele-Coech in the Mersin Half Marathon on Sunday, his first international competition since winning the 3,000 meters in the Miramas indoor meeting in January 2020. Among top marathons taking place in the next 2 weeks, the most notable is the Abu Dhabi Marathon on 26 November, which announced the presence of Kenyan's Titus Eriko, who holds the world lead with his PB of 2:02:57 set in Milano in April, and his compatriot Abel Kirui, the 2 times world marathon champion. But of course, the most high-profile race on the distance is the Valencia Marathon on the 5th of December, which has announced 6 male runners with PBs under 2 hours 05 and 31 runners with PBs under 2:10. In the women's race, 4 athletes boast PBs under 2:21. Stadium events are being held in the Southern Hemisphere, and the top event is the first edition of the Pan American Under-20 Championships, being held in Cali from the 30th of November to the 4th of December. And also still a lot of top athletics action to look forward to in the next fortnight. So we're now at the end of our show. It was great having Haileegziabher join us and Elias with his videos from New York. Thank you all for watching, and see you in 2 weeks on Love Athletics.